Welcome to the Backpage Podcast presented by the Niagara Wire. I'm your host, James Burns, along with Jamie the Wolf Magone, Frank the Tank Heinzman, and our executive producer, visual director, audio engineer, creative engineer, Ryan Sullivan.
Jack of all trades.
The Jack of all trades. Today we're talking about NU spring sports. A lot going on this past weekend. Pro sports. We got NHL and NBA playoffs. NFL draft previews coming up. First, let's go to NU sports. A busy weekend for all those involved. First, let's go over the stats. The pick stats has been a recurring storyline on this show. Your gracious host, have been eliminated from contention
after going 0-4.
0-4. Not a good weekend. Not a good weekend. So I'm 0-4. I dropped below 500. Myself and Ryan are out of it. Jamie and Franklin, it's getting tight.
It's a two-horse race.
Yeah, it is. It was a 4-horse
I'm 2
race,
games ahead of Franklin at this time. I am at 30-20. Franklin at 28-20. James 24-26, and Ryan. We'll give Ryan a shout out. 21-29.
No lack of effort.
Not Ryan's year.
No lack of effort.
Now, for those who don't remember, what is on the line for me and Jamie is their Blue Jays ticket paid for.
Yes.
And now that I bring that up, I should probably announce our last episode of the Backpage Podcast for this semester is going on the road. We're going to Toronto to watch a Blue Jays game, and then we'll record the podcast afterwards. And so the winner of picks gets their Blue Jays ticket paid for.
Yeah, and that'll be the last time the four of us are able to do the Backpage Podcast together. So,
And maybe the last time the four of us are together.
The four of us.
I mean, unless there's some wire stuff. I mean, I don't
and WNR.
That's true. WNR, yeah, it's going. Yeah, that's true. We had a nice May the 4th Star Wars special.
See, I won't be there. So that's what I'm saying. I won't be at that.
True,
one.
all four.
I've
of
never
us.
seen it. I wouldn't contribute to the conversation. I don't know. I wouldn't happen. So Ryan's last in picks. He's driving to Toronto.
I am.
A friendly reminder,
Ryan.
I won the March Madness bracket. I had these 3 gentlemen take me out to dinner. A thank you that I have not extended yet, but it went to Grandma
A
Mora's.
delicious choice, by the way.
Thank you.
In my
Terrific,
opinion.
Thank you.
terrific afternoon.
That was
start of the wonderful weather too.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
the start of the hopeful, fingers crossed transition to spring.
Whoa.
Hopeful.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grandma Mora's. My meal was great. Jamie, I know you.
Delicious.
I don't know if yours touched your tongue. You just kind of inhaled it. Then
I think
Ryan-
I was done with it within 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but-
Ryan took his time. You had a huge plate.
I did.
You had a huge plate. Franklin, quesadilla.
I've had better.
Yeah, well.
Well, you know.
I wanted to be. I was trying to put it as nice as possible.
No
but
one put a
I've
gun
had
to your
better.
head and said, get the quesadilla. So, you know.
Yeah, so that's there's a bunch of other, much more authentic food they have there that would have been much better.
The beer was beyond refreshing.
Yes,
Beer was-
the Corona was excellent. Yeah.
Get the lime, of course.
Gotta have
and
the
then,
Of course.
Yeah, but that was a great dinner. Thank you guys again, and I'm looking forward to Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
A lot going on this weekend with NU sports. Baseball had a series against Monmouth that
Did not go well.
did not go well. Women's lacrosse, let's go to them first because they had a better weekend.
Okay.
They had a better weekend. It was their senior day, and from what I was actually doing, Jamie, I was with you in the press box of the baseball game.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. I was doing color.
A surprise
even.
to both of us. There.
Yeah, I had no idea you were there. No idea you were going to be there. But I wouldn't say a pleasant surprise, but it was.
I mean,
wasn't
yeah.
a bad surprise, right?
No, it was just a surprise.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad surprise.
Yeah.
NU women beat Quinnipiac 15-11, and they got out to a quick start. I think they scored like 4 or 5 goals with the Niagara University women's lacrosse team opened the game on a 5-0 scoring run en route to defeating Quinnipiac 15-11.
Nice.
I think that 5-0 score run took place within the first 7 minutes. So they just got out after it.
Yeah,
picking up
'cause
right where they left off.
They were constantly updating the score in the baseball press box, and they're like, "Oh, 4-0, like 5-0, blah blah." And I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
hey.
So that was fun to see. It's always good to see Niagara sports win, and probably the most successful team this spring for
Yeah,
Niagara.
easily.
Yeah,
Easily.
for sure.
Definitely, and probably picking up right where they left off. I think that you can make the argument that they were the most successful team last spring as well. Softball, them and softball both had good years, but lacrosse has just been continuously good the past several years. Rachel McShane did not skip a step. 5 goals, 1 assist. Carolyn Crump, 4 goals, no assists. Or Alexis Morales, 2 and 1. Jill Ford, a couple of assists. Yeah, just a great day for Niagara. They're playing Canisius next on the 25th, the same day we come out with the Wire. And Canisius they've been good.
Really?
They've been really good for the last 4 years. So
Well, hold on, James. It was senior day, and we're not even giving the seniors a shout out. Shout out to the
I'm looking
senior.
at the stats. I'm looking at the stats.
The shout out to the women's lacrosse players over seniors that were honored that day:
Let's keep
Olivia
going.
Renner, Jill Ford, Alexandria Higgins, Samantha Brill, and Grace Hunt.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, Alexandria Higgins, we've talked about her before on the show. One of the best defensive players in Niagara women's lacrosse history. One of the best in terms of forced ground balls.
Yeah.
I keep playing with this baseball, but the forced ground balls, just a bunch of great stuff coming from her the past 4 years.
Now let
Yeah,
me
Jill
ask. Let me
Ford
ask
and-
you guys this: you said that the women's lacrosse has been the most successful team this spring. Would you go out on a limb and say they've been the most successful team this year?
I think that's hard pressed when you see how good basketball for
Yeah.
men and women
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, no. I'd say that they're probably.
They're up there.
I'd have to look at the women's basketball stats, but I think they're around 500.
Yeah.
And Niagara, they're 8-8, 5-2 in the MAC. So 5-2 in the MAC is a that jumps out at the page at you.
If women's lacrosse can have success in the MAC tournament, then they would be able to push themselves up in the argument of best team this year, because obviously the men and women knocked out a little, or at least the men knocked out a little earlier than they would have liked.
Yeah, and the
don't,
women
don't talk about that.
Well,
That's
no,
rough.
the women went the women went past the playing game. They lost in the first round.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, yeah, if Niagara, depending on their first round matchup in the postseason, yeah, you can make that argument. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I was quick to jump and say men's basketball, but then yeah, men's basketball. I think their record was similar. I think they had a great MAC record, but a 500 total record. So that like the same boat that the lacrosse team's in. But yeah, nonetheless, yeah, get Niagara women past the first round, the lacrosse team past the first round, and yeah, I'd say probably they're the best season by far.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you
Yeah.
said that this team is around 500. A team that is around 500 in the MAC, but not doing so hot overall, is women's softball. But they picked up 2 wins this weekend. They went and
Nice.
completely blew out St. Peter's. They won 8-0 in a doubleheader, and then
St.
they
Peter's
won
is horrible.
3-1.
At everything, I think.
They are dead last in. Most
Would you say they're
sports.
mediocre?
Apparently,
No, I'd say they're much worse than mediocre.
apparently, St. Peter's golf. That's the one thing they're good at. Golf.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
we'll have to
Credit where credit's due.
we'll have to call recurring guest
Sabres are pretty
Christian
good at
Zamus
golf,
on
too.
that one.
Yeah, but no, their baseball team, I don't think they've won a game in the past couple seasons.
But no, the one huge positive out of this was Sierra Bertrand. She went and
Per
earned
usual,
her
right?
6th win. She went and struck out 13 batters, which is a career high,
Ooh.
and allowed only 4 hits in 9.1 innings. She almost went the whole entire game
In a single
extended
game?
innings.
Hold on.
Oh,
But is that
That's
just
impressive.
a single game? Would they play 9? Because I know, like with the baseball game, they the second game was 7 innings.
So maybe
No, I
maybe
think they're
it's-
all
'cause-
7. Because
because they don't play 9, so that must have just been extra
Yeah.
innings.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
impressive of her to go through extras.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and to continue on. To
Only
be,
4 hits.
Yeah,
Wow.
I watched her last season. I think in 7 innings, strike out 12 batters, and it was unbelievable. She was electric. She was one of the most dominant pitching performances I've seen in person ever at any level,
Wow.
any sport. Yeah, 12. So 12 strikeouts, 6 innings. There are a couple innings where she struck out the side. I probably still have the notes saved on my phone, so I was keeping track of all of them. But yeah, it was just fun to watch. Moving on to a less successful weekend, baseball.
Really?
Jamie, we saw the games. Couldn't really get anything going.
Yeah, I'd say.
either game.
Oh, were you there on Sunday too, or
I wasn't there on
just
Sunday. I was just there on Saturday.
Yeah, me either. So I would just say on Saturday, yeah, they just really struggled to drive runners in. It seemed like, or even honestly, in the first game, get anything going on base. I mean, that guy, what was he, 6'8", the pitcher for Monmouth?
6-8. Yep.
I
Dennis.
mean, that was insane, and he just was shutting down the Niagara lineup. Greg Cullen even struggled in the first game. He had a bounce back second game and bounce back weekend. He's still leading Division I in batting average. So that's probably going to be the only positive to come out of the season for baseball, as things are looking thus far, is just Greg Cullen's success. But
He's a junior,
mean,
right?
he's a junior.
Yep.
He might still get drafted this year, but
Oh, that's true,
obviously
right?
he
You
can come
that's how
back.
baseball works.
Probably.
Yeah, and although maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll offer him a bunch of money and they'll chase him away. Who knows? So he didn't want to really talk about that when I did the interview with
No,
him.
neither did
so.
Tanner Kerwer last year. We asked him
Yeah.
about it. I think Adam Penali did the story on him, and he asked about the draft, and he said, "No, I'm just worried about this season." Like, okay, that's the right answer. but
Yeah,
not the
he's
answer I
giving,
want.
Yeah, he's giving the good answer.
Yeah. So yeah, but the coach is saying, you're like, I know you're getting national recognition, but just keep it, focus on the MAC.
Right.
Don't focus on your Division
Right,
One
right.
and MLB draft potential. Focus on the MAC.
Did you say draft?
Yeah, it's probably good. I mean,
Yeah, I think he'll get
NFL draft
drafted.
is coming up.
Oh, what a segue.
All right,
That
okay.
was elite.
Amazing.
All right.
WNR Wire News Radio will be coming to you Wednesday with a brand new episode which will feature entertainment, sports, and what have you. There will also be special episodes May 2nd and May 4th, which will include some summer jams, some NHL and NBA free agency, some post-NFL draft talk, best vacation spots we've ever had all time, and, of course, May the 4th be with you.
They flight. The moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards salvation. I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say,
So NFL draft, yeah. All right, let's go there. I was going to touch on golf too, but they both did horribly in that. So
Yeah.
just keep going forward.
Well, NFL draft is this Thursday, finally, draft week.
Wow.
I am hyped.
I have an article coming out Wednesday for Bills mock draft.
Yes, you do.
Awesome.
Feeling good about it.
And
but,
issue 14 of the Niagara Wire, the last
one for-
issue for the founding editors. You can catch it on newsstands April 25th. Great article by Ryan. Keep going.
Well, Franklin, I know, has a few theories about the Bills, their draft.
Yeah,
I
I
also have been really interested by some of the aspects of this week that I've been really following, watching a lot of tape when I am not working on my final project for my whole major. So
To graduate.
segue.
Yeah. So I'm not doing that. I'm watching draft. I'm watching footage, and that'd be a great way to get your foot in the door in like an NFL front office. Like, listen, I just seen your son project too, but I was watching draft footage
Yeah,
of guys
my dedication
who are projected in the
is-
4th round. So that's my dedication.
Exactly. So, Franklin, what is your theory about
Alrighty.
the Bills?
Yeah, I'm interested.
So I'm sitting at work, right? And you're allowed to bring a laptop. So I brought my laptop, and after I think months and months of every possible scenario, oh, the Bills might do this, Bills might do this, the Bills might just stay put, they might be traded up. I finally narrowed it down to what I think is going to happen. So I'd like the floor for a couple minutes before any questions are asked. So
I can't promise I won't jump in.
I'm gonna be like a little philosopher here. My argument is under these assumptions. The first assumption is Sam Darnold's gonna go number 1 to the Browns.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm very hold on.
I really
What?
wondered what that was for a second.
This drum roll sound
Drum
effect.
roll on his laptop. Okay.
Okay,
here's the
drum
roll.
roll. Okay.
Got a little
Let me
late-
start
started
that
later than I
over.
thought it was gonna be.
Let me start that over. Goodness. So the assumptions are Sam Darnold's going to go number 1. The Giants are going to pick Barkley at 2. And Baker Mayfield or Josh Rosen will go number 3 to the Jets. And the fourth assumption is that if the Bills don't at least try to trade up from number 12, there's going to be like riots. So I have come to the conclusion that if the Bills will trade up to either 4, 5, or 6 and pick between Josh Rosen or Josh Allen. And in this scenario, I'd personally pick Rosen. If Baker Mayfield is on the board because the Jets pick Rosen, I think the Bills will go with Allen over Baker Mayfield because of the process. You know, Baker Mayfield isn't exactly the, cookie cutter guy that the Bills are looking for. And there's also a chance Allen won't be on the board in the 4 to 6 range, but not big enough that it's like a realistic possibilities. And that's my acknowledgement to like the reports that the Browns are like really thinking about Allen. Like, okay, they seem like smoke. What are they called? Smoke.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke screens.
Yeah, smoke screens for any regular NFL front office. And then I would call drafting Rosen or Allen in the 4 to 5, 6 picks a success. If by some miracle the Bills end up picking Sam Darnold because the Browns picked Josh Allen at number 1 and the Bills get up to 2, that would be the biggest win for the Bills. Dating back to last year, that was the greatest scenario. The worst scenario would be if the Bills just don't trade up and all the quarterbacks are picked, leaving us SOL. And so, what do you guys think? I think that is how the draft
So
is
you're
going to
saying
play
that's
out.
what's going to happen.
This is what's going to
I'll add
happen.
in last in this conversation.
Like, what do I think? Like,
Right.
what I think they should do, or what I think will happen?
What I'm saying is my definitive thesis is the Bills are going to trade up to 4, 5, or 6 and pick between Rosen or Allen.
Seems likely that they would get up to 5 maybe because Denver has said that pick is available, and the Bills probably have the most they can offer. So I would say that's probably like the most likely, yeah, for them. I'd say they get up to 5.
And
Yeah,
pick who? Rosen or Allen?
Oh,
Or like just the fact that they pick Rosen or Allen, or just
So okay, so yeah, they'd get up to 5, and well, so you're saying, yeah, I don't think they would take. I actually feel like they would take Baker Mayfield over Josh Allen. I kind of think
I'll
they
take
would
Baker
go
Baker
Baker.
over Josh Allen. I'll take Baker.
I think
Mayfield
that
over
I
Josh
think the
Allen.
Bills
at
would do
the
that.
at the 4, 5, 6 area.
Yeah, I think they would.
Okay.
I what I think is going to happen. I'm normally very pessimistic about everything, including the Bills. The Bills are probably the reason I'm most pessimistic about everything else. So, I think they're gonna. Here's what I think is gonna happen. I think they're gonna give up way too much to get to number 5, and they're gonna draft Josh Allen. Then there's gonna be 10 more years of mediocrity. What I want there to happen is them to give up a good amount to get to 5, and then take either Rosen if he's there, which I
feel like he will be.
Again, I question if he will be, or Mayfield. Or I wouldn't be mad if they sat at 12 and took Lamar Jackson.
I would be very mad.
I'm telling you, Franklin, you're sleeping on Lamar.
If all the reports are saying he's either Robert Griffin III or Michael Vick, like no in between, then I'm gonna stay away from him. You know, like I want a good, consistent quarterback.
If he could be RG3 but didn't have that knee injury, RG3 was tearing up the league before he got
for
hurt.
a hot 16 games.
First, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, people were
Yeah.
saying
Yes.
he should have won Rookie of the Year
Yes.
or that. Or did he? Did he win Rookie of the Year over Andrew Luck?
Oh,
No,
my
Andrew Luck
goodness.
won.
Andrew Luck did win. Okay, but still, people were
Did he win a
giving him
Heisman?
a strong argument.
RG3 won a Heisman?
RG3 won the Heisman.
Yeah,
he,
okay,
he
yeah.
had like the Superman. Oh no, wait, did he have the socks on? Like the weird. He had some colorful
No.
socks. I don't know.
I think that was Cam
Cam
Newton.
Newton had
the
Superman.
Well, yeah,
Superman
that's what I was
socks
saying.
on.
I think Cam Newton had Superman socks, but I think RG3 was wearing something unique. I don't know, but that's not really important. So
Right,
let's
so-
move on.
So if I had to add any of this, over the past week, I've actually been kind of getting the sense, even though the Giants seem to like Saquon Barkley and are leaning more towards that side, I actually think they might draft Rosen at 2.
Ooh, okay. Well, you think it's like again? It's just like a
I think it's a
purple
pressure-
haze
I think-
that they're gonna take Barkley.
Yeah, I think it's a pressure of them needing quarterback and needing to address that need a few years down the line. Because unless you're trading back from 2 and then getting that quarterback and trading back up with those picks you get from this year's, you need a quarterback at some point in the next 3 years.
I keep hearing people give reports that the Giants expect Eli to play another couple years.
But he won't make it more than
might be
2.
nonsense, but I don't know. But still, that's what I'm hearing.
He can do at least one
they're
more.
expecting. Yeah. Well, what I thought they were gonna do is play out his contract this last year, draft the quarterback, and then have the quarterback take
That's
over.
smart.
But I don't know. Yeah.
I think Darnold, Rosen, and then third would be probably. It's hard because I think it's Mayfield.
We touched on it
Yeah.
last podcast, and that's how what I made that third assumption based off of. There's reports, or I should say rumors at this point. There's rumors that Baker Mayfield to the Jets is a done
So you
deal.
don't trade up from 6 to 3 without thinking you need your guy.
Right.
Yeah,
And then-
their guy's there, yeah.
And then also for the fact that the Bills, if they trade up, I think they'd trade the 12, the 53, the 56 next year's first. And possibly another second.
Oh, I heard this on driving up here, actually. There was a caller, and he called in. He's like, oh, he was talking about next year's first-round pick. And the host, I think it was Jeremy White, said, would you be more upset if the Bills traded 22 or next year's first?
I think
In addition to 12.
I think in addition, it depends on how many seconds you're giving them. But go from 12 to 5, that's going to be a big jump, and Denver's not going to take a discount because they can get their quarterback at 5 too, probably, or a running back or whatever they
Right,
need.
but what I'm saying
And so
is...
I think what the smartest thing to do is honestly do next year's. So then you get 2 guys in a row this year, and next year when you don't have as many significant free agents, you can still make it up for it in the second round.
I see what you're saying. Actually, that's a pretty good Twitter poll. What do you think, guys? Would you be more upset if the Bills traded a number 22 in addition to number 12 to trade up to number 1, or next year's first-round pick in addition to number 12 to trade up in the draft?
And no matter what, it's going to be 2 firsts and multiple seconds.
Right, so you figure, which
Yeah.
first?
And then I think if you're going back to your question of who the Bills take between Allen and Mayfield, Mayfield has the best in-between window percentage of any quarterback coming in this draft, in which NFL's all on the in-tight window passes, so he's the best in that category. But Allen also had 2 true freshmen on his offensive line, and his best wideout was on the Patriots practice squad. So he didn't have NFL wideouts. The Bills have a few, and I would argue that Allen overall, with his stature, he looks like a real quarterback, like your stereotypical like Drew Brees quarterback. I actually am leaning more towards Allen lately for the Bills if they were to trade up more than anything else.
All right.
Okay.
Interesting. Staying on the NFL, our Twitter poll last week was who changed their uniform better than the rest, the Jags, Finns, or the Titans, and 49% said the Titans had the best uniform change.
All right.
Yeah. We really we have a big fluctuation in amount of votes we get on our polls sometimes. Like we've gotten like I feel like in the the 50s and some polls, and like on some we get like 10. Like I don't know what the deciding factor is.
Intelligence too fluctuates from our poll voters because I don't know how you say that the Titans had the best.
Should have been
one.
the Jags. Should have been the
I would say
Jags.
the Dolphins, but definitely not the Titans.
Well, yeah.
That is what it is.
Anyone but the Titans literally would have probably
Anyone
been
but
the
the
better
Titans.
answer. So
We have playoffs.
yeah.
Playoffs.
We have playoffs.
Jim Mora.
NHL and NBA. Make sure you grab the final issue of this semester, the Founding Editor's final issue, April 25th. You can catch it on newsstands around campus of the Niagara Wire. Be sure to get your copy on Wednesday. NBA, a huge game. Who saw the Bucks Celtics game?
I saw highlights.
Giannis is unbelievable.
He destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
I was at Brickyard watching it, and
Ooh.
that was. I was watching the gaping lead grow larger and larger while I was snacking on my barbecue pulled pork.
Stop.
That's where we should have went.
Brickyard?
Brickyard.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll hit it up another
It's
time.
okay.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Giannis, well, all in one play, he might have single-handedly won that series in terms of bringing motivation back and ended Al Horford's career, all in one dunk.
Oh, stop.
So,
Poor Al.
Poor Al. I mean, you see Giannis, who's about as tall as you and about a foot longer with each arm, and then you still think, yeah, it's a good idea to try to block this dunk.
You know what? I like when guys at least give an effort to try to get the block. Because, I mean, so many people get posterized, I feel like, all the time now that, yes, you will end up on Twitter. But, I don't know. I think Al Horford has enough credibility that people won't roast him too badly for getting dunked on. And then if he had gotten the block, it would have been amazing. So, it's I think you take the chance.
I know, but I like that dunk was honestly one of the most electric dunks I've ever seen. Just like the time of the game that it came, and
Yeah.
like they needed that as soon as it happened, like just in terms of like turning the game around. Just kind of, I know they were ahead at that time, but just kind of like, just almost putting the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and for the Celtics though, you have to be obviously you're a little disappointed. You're disappointed that you lost, but you have to be encouraged by the play of Jason Tatum and especially Jaylen Brown. 34 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, when he got picked third overall, people were, I think Celtics fans booed him, and they wanted the Celtics to pick Chris Dunn, the point guard out of Providence, because at that point they thought, I guess they needed a point guard. Maybe they were trying to replace Isaiah Thomas, or I don't know at that point who it was, but. I mean, Chris Dunn he has already been traded from the Wolves to the Bulls. Is that
That's correct.
Yeah,
In the Jimmy Butler trade.
in the Jimmy Butler trade, and he's doing fine. But Jaylen Brown has just become a stud, and then Jason Tatum. These guys are 20 and 21 years old, so they're getting all this experience in these playoffs. They'll come into next year now with a hopefully healthy Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. I mean, this team is going to be absolutely deadly.
And plus more
next
than that
season.
even.
Yeah, and possibly, more. Yeah, you're right. Depending, I mean, what could they get? Like the Kings pick either this year or next year, I think. The Sacramento Kings.
Plus free agency.
Plus free agency. I mean, you never know what's
Never
going to
know.
happen. I mean,
They got the room for it. They're not paying Brown and Tatum a lot.
yeah, I mean, this
There's always
team,
that possibility they could trade Hayward if they really were thinking that he's on his way out.
That'd be cold.
That-
But
yeah, that would
although
be,
they
but-
traded Isaiah Thomas after he played in the playoffs the day of his sister's death. So
It was a
apparently
day.
Danny
Oh,
Ainge
oh, man.
just does not
Cold-blooded.
care about your feelings. So, it's,
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So,
but yeah, it's bright things to look forward to for Celtics fans.
NHL, Pittsburgh clinched their series last night on a game that was, Ryan, we were watching it together.
We watched it, and it was an unbelievable third period.
It was. I mean, who is it that had the 4 or 5 straight goals?
It was Jake Gensel, who the Flyers are up 4-3, and Jake Gensel came up and scored 4 unanswered on the night. And he is 6th in the series, but he had 4 unanswered. One should have been taken back for a penalty. The other one should have been taken back because of cross-checking penalty, arguably. So there is still a controversy last night. Refs missed a few calls, but that's going to happen in this kind of crazy playoffs. I mean, I don't know the right word for it.
That
but
series itself, too, I feel like
it's
the
an
Penguins
aggressive-
and the Flyers always have crazy series in terms of scoring and fighting.
I
I feel
think the
like
refs can't catch everything because they're trying to watch people headhunting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know you can't catch everything, but if a guy literally winds up and
Yeah,
swings
that
at a
was-
guy's
that
legs,
I went and I laughed. James
We
Sonny looked freak
watched
out.
it. Yeah, we watched it. It was.
I don't know how that's not a penalty, and no one.
gosh,
that's
I
why.
did no one
That's why
see
Sidney
it.
Crosby got thrown a few hundred beer cans at him yesterday.
Was
He
that?
had to.
I thought it was Letang. Was that Crosby that
Crosby got
swung
covered in
his-
beer.
That's hilarious.
Letang was the one who tripped the guy.
Okay,
then
I'm right.
Yeah.
Crosby had the quote, "I don't know why these fans threw a whole beer cans at me. We're wasting good beer here."
Yeah, I mean he's
And
got a point.
He's got a point.
It didn't go well for him.
no. In Philly, what are you gonna expect? Those fans are
Brutal.
brutal.
They are
Brutal.
some of the roughest in
Absolutely
any sport.
brutal.
5. Holy
This
cow.
is the time for so playoff series ending. Now we get to see what injuries people were playing with now.
Yeah,
It's always so Couturier gets a hat trick for the Flyers in Game 6 versus the Penguins with torn MCL. So he's playing with torn MCL. Sean Couturier.
yeah.
So that's the first big one I've seen so far. I'm sure when the Stanley Cup ends, we'll get more of like.
I think this
Pittsburgh
joke
will be a big
I
one.
think this joke has been made 900 times, but you don't see any snowflake baseball players or snowflake NBA players playing with torn MCLs.
I don't know.
Again,
I don't know.
you simply cannot play those sports with torn MCLs. So
Blister on the finger.
you cannot
Yeah,
play
suck it
them.
up.
You cannot play them effectively with those injuries.
Zero grit.
So
No, I know that is. Well, now you see the hockey and to basketball comparisons all the time. Hockey to soccer comparisons. Hockey is, they are animals. I don't know that any of them have felt pain. I think that there's just a cortisone shot being injected into their bloodstream before every single game. So I don't. That could be me, but I don't know. I think that's my theory.
I'm surprised by how the Caps have been staying in this series for them, and that's not over yet. As the same until yesterday with Colorado finally getting eliminated, but I was surprised with Colorado's production against Nashville, but Nashville finally just took them out.
Today's
But
23rd. Today's the 23rd.
It is the
right?
23rd.
it is
All right, today's 23rd. So we got Boston in Toronto. Boston leads 3-2.
And Toronto's looking
one of our
aggressive.
picks.
Yeah, we're picking that later. Stay tuned.
And then Washington in Columbus. Washington leading 3-2. So both away teams having the chance to finish the series out. How about this? What series ends tonight, if any?
I think tonight
Well.
it's going to be Boston finally beating Toronto, but it's going to be
Ooh,
that's going to be a
little-
scary lineup.
Is that a tease for picks?
Early pick for Ryan.
Yeah, it is.
No, I'll go along with you. I should have mentioned our picks, but yeah, I mean, one of them's going to win tonight. I don't think it's going to be the Capitals. I think the Capitals win at home.
The Capitals are on the road, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
There.
And they just beat them on the road, right? In overtime.
Twice,
Or not in
yes.
overtime. Twice on the road. Okay. Yeah, I'll take the Capitals. In that question, I'll take the Capitals
But
winning.
the same was said last time too for Columbus beating Capitals twice in
Oh, that's
Washington,
true, yeah.
and then they lost.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? I just caught myself. I'm buying into the Capitals in the playoffs, and then they're going to break everyone's hearts and choke. So, yeah, I'll switch my answer. I'll go with the Bruins. If I had to say a series ends tonight, but that may not be my pick.
No, but I'd say I'm the same way. I'd say that series will end tonight. I don't know. That's my answer.
So moving on to segments.
We have segments.
The last segments of the year, boys.
Don't even.
First up, Ryan, cue up the Jimi Hendrix. We have Purple Haze.
I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first. 'Cause
I'm going. I don't know if anybody has this. Cavs struggles. Purple Haze. Cavs are going to make it to the championship again. Yep. Absolutely. Can't beat LeBron James in the playoffs. Cavs are going to the championship, and it is Purple Haze that they're off to a slow start.
Man, they are barely getting by Indiana. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I know you're a Cavs fan. I don't know about that one.
I
My
want
last
to believe
Purple
it,
Haze is
but-
going to be Cavs based. So Cavs are going to the.
Oh man.
It's either this or Indians, guys. You pick it. One of them's going to the championship.
Yeah, all right. All right, I'll go next. My Purple Haze is the struggles of the Boston Bruins. They have dominated every game thus far and have lost, you could say, on fluke goals and on fluke calls in both games, and so I think they're going to be fine and eventually win the series. But will they win Game 6? I don't know. You have to find out what I think. Who's next?
Go ahead, Ryan.
One of you.
My Purple Haze
I'm struggling, I think.
is that the LA Dodgers, who are an even 500, are not the team they were last year. They have numerous injuries. Turner's still out, and their pitching hasn't been stellar due to Kenley Jansen blowing numerous saves. But their draft stock is still very high. They have many prospects coming up, probably in August. And I think if you're a West Coast fan of the Dodgers or wherever you are, if you're a fan of the Dodgers, you should not be worried because knowing them, they will pull off some incredible winning streak come July and August and win that division.
Okay. I'll do mine. I don't necessarily know the type of coverage, positive or negative. Probably not positive this has been getting, but my Purple Haze is just that the Red Sox getting no hit matters at all. Like if anyone, I mean, I know like I have a friend who's a Red Sox fan and I was roasting him for it, but I mean, obviously it's just one game. This is a once in a lifetime thing for Sean Manaea. I mean, and we know that this can just happen out of the blue. I mean, we had Armando Galarraga. Is that his name? Who got screwed out of a perfect game, but still.
That's
Against
funny.
the Indians.
And then he went to the minors after that. Like, he was never ever close to that good.
That's
again.
funny that you remember the one person that got screwed out of a perfect
I
game
know.
instead of the next person who got the perfect game.
I know, but
Clay
yeah.
Buchholz, like he got a no
douche-er?
hitter, a perfect game or something.
Yeah.
Like, and he's been. I don't know where.
Max
I don't even know what he's
Scherzer is
doing.
usually good for one
Didn't
of them.
Harden or Duscher get it for the A's?
Who?
Justin Duscher.
Oh, once upon a time.
Him or Harden?
Oh,
I'm not 100%
no
sure.
idea.
I could hit the Google machine, but I would like to segue into I'll Tell You What.
I'll tell you what.
So before we start, I'll tell you what. I don't think we've ever given him a shout out. Kevin Tralla, if you're listening, he was the one who came up with this segment, and it's been one of our
Kevin,
foundation
yeah.
segments for the past few months.
R.I.P. Kevin Tralla as a part of the Niagara Wire. So
Alrighty, so
We miss ya.
who would like to go first? And I'll tell you what.
thanks for listening to the Backpage Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the Backpage Podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud.
Waiting for the break of day.
I'll go first. Ryan, going against your point that the Dodgers are going to win the division. The Diamondbacks, they're for real. I wrote down the D-backs are back. They were never really there, but they're for
They made
real.
the playoffs
man.
last season.
Yeah, well, there you go. They've won their first 7 series of the year. They've won every series this year. Pitching's been terrific. Torey Lovullo's a family friend, so I'll give that a little shout out as well.
A little Michael Wilbon name drop.
Oh
there.
yeah, absolutely. So, Diamondbacks, honestly, I don't know if they're going to win the division, but it's going to be close. I'd never like to go against the Dodgers because for the reason you said, they're always good. But yeah, I would not be surprised if the D-backs won that division. I feel like they've been kind of there for a while, and this might be the year where they make that jump to division leader, run in the postseason, and I'm very geographic with my sports loyalty. So a team like Arizona should be good at baseball, should have a strong baseball culture behind it. So I'll tell you what, Arizona going to win the division.
Wow. All right, I'll do mine. So I'll tell you what, assuming the Warriors can finish off this 3-1 series lead against the Spurs, I think
Sweating that one.
I think Pelicans Warriors go 7 games.
Wow.
I
That
think
might
so.
be the hottest one in
think
quite
so.
a while.
I think it goes 7 games. And I mean, especially if Curry isn't fully healthy, then I think the Pelicans can win. for sure.
Wait,
So,
like win the whole thing?
can beat the can beat the Warriors.
Oh, you said if Curry's healthy.
I said especially if Curry isn't healthy.
Oh, is it?
Isn't.
Oh,
I think the
I
Pelicans
gotcha.
can win the series. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
The Pelicans are Anthony Davis is the best player in the league in this right now in the playoffs. I mean, he's putting up just inhumane numbers. I mean, let me just pull up the
His
last
average
game
basically
stats.
per game is like 30 plus every game.
Where is
Easily
Where's
a double-double,
the-
right?
Yeah.
Gotta be a double-double.
Yeah, so last game in the closeout game against Portland, the Pelicans won 131 to 123. Anthony Davis 47 points, 11 rebounds. I mean, you got to be kidding me. And then Drew Holiday drops 41 and 8 assists. I mean, Drew Holiday is playing just out of his mind. We got playoff Rondo going on with his always weird stat lines of 7 points, 7 rebounds, 16 assists. I mean, I'm very entertained by this team. I like Nikola Mirotic. So yeah, that's my I'll tell you what.
Alrighty, I'll go next. My I'll tell you what is also to James's point, one of my favorite teams. It talks about one of my favorite teams.
Meh.
Miguel Andujar is was one of the top prospects in all of baseball and got called up this year. And I think I'll tell you what, Miguel Andujar will be a force for years to come. Okay, he's
So what does he have to do per year to count as a force? Like what are his stats
like
have to be?
265. I'm trying to think for hits in our base because he's got power. He just
Like home runs, RBIs, how many would you say? If he's
What is a force?
Yeah.
Is 265 a force? There's a lot of forces in the MLB. If it
well, that's what
really.
Gary Sanchez hit last year, and people are afraid of him. You know?
Well, he's got
I'm
the
not.
power. Yeah, I don't just
Right.
I mean, does Andujar have Gary
does.
Sanchez
Yeah.
power?
He does.
right. He does.
Okay.
He does.
He's
and
a strong on
so
base.
the last 7 games, he has hit 464 with a 483 on base percentage and 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, including a really clutch bases clearing double.
He plays third base, right?
Yes, he does.
So how long until he's up and then Gleyber Torres is up and they put
Well,
Didi up?
They just called up Torres. Literally a couple, maybe yesterday was
Yesterday's the
Torres'
first
first
The
game,
Yankees' beloved son Didi's got to be on the way out soon then.
and they put him at second, which I'm not
Okay.
opposed to.
All right, that makes sense.
So go Yankees and watch out for Miguel Andujar for years to come.
I'll tell you what, is that despite popular belief
Oh.
that Bradley Chubb, the most years, clear-cut 1 or 2 pick on defense, will fall past the top 6 of the NFL draft.
Interesting.
At number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I kind of took this away from one of the podcasts I listened to, but I totally agree with them on it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers will pull off what the New York Jets did a few years ago. They had Mo Wilkerson and a few other guys, and they grabbed Leonard Williams. It's that thing like you're in a fantasy draft, you grab the best player available, even if he's not in a place of need,
Yeah.
and have him go and learn from JPP.
All right,
Bay.
they did just pick up JPP.
Interesting. Yeah, they got the trade, yeah.
And they have really crazy stinking depth on defensive end. They have like 4 defensive ends left and right and 7 defensive tackles. So they have some good competition down there in South Florida.
So Bradley Chubb to the Bucks, D-backs winning the division, Miguel Andujar being elite, and the Pelicans winning.
Pelicans Warriors going 7 games.
Going 7 games. Sorry about that. What a great, I'll tell you what, to end it off. But even a better segment to end it all off.
Ooh.
Picks with a little dumpster fire, a little half dumpster fire.
Dumpster
Monday.
fire Monday for all the marbles is how it comes down
It's
to.
tough when it's the playoffs. It's tough to do a dumpster fire
Yeah.
Monday when it's the playoffs because it's no bad teams in theory, right?
So me and Jamie agreed before the show started that if our picks align to make it interesting, I will be able to switch a couple picks around.
Yep, so he could at least tie, yeah. Have the chance.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Backpage Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Backpage Podcast to catch when episodes go live and answer Twitter polls that correspond to each episode. First up, we're picking Game 6. We touched on it a little earlier of Bruins Maple Leafs on tonight.
Well, I had the Bruins. I went with the Bruins. I mean, they easily could have. They outshot Toronto. I forget what the number was, but it was something crazy in Game 6 or Game 5.
41-25.
Yeah, so I think that they'll get the win even on the road.
I'm going with Bruins. They're my Stanley Cup prediction before any of the playoffs started.
All right, I'll go Bruins. As of now,
You'll go Bruins. Okay.
So, well, do me and Ryan even pick? I know, Ryan, you just picked.
You
but,
just-
I mean, you
like,
might as well
just
pick. Yeah, come on.
James, you can get to 500, and Ryan, you can have fun.
Exactly.
Bruins. I'll take Bruins.
All righty. Clean sweep for the Bruins. As of now. Next up, we have Pacers-Cavs, Game 5.
Cavs.
Pacers.
Pacers.
Oh, you're both going Pacers. Interesting. I mean, I think, I don't know. I just feel like the Cavs have been playing really bad, and they have to get better eventually, right?
No, that one I had before, so I'm not gonna.
What
That
one
one's
would
not
that be?
eligible to switch.
All right.
Here, let me just write down on our rundown that we use every
Wouldn't it be
show.
more entertaining if it kept extending the series?
I mean, if
Diver.
LeBron went down 3-2, and just to see what he would do to try to carry his team back, that would be awesome. But
Exactly.
still, I don't necessarily want or need to see that.
All right, next up, we have the Dumpster Fire Monday portion of our program.
Yeah.
The Rays play the Orioles on Wednesday. Chris Archer faces Dylan Bundy on
Really
the
good
mound.
matchup.
Yeah. Normally, just on face value, I'd go Chris Archer, but I was like, what the heck? Let me look up these stats. Dylan Bundy, a 1.42 ERA on the season.
He's
So I'm
having a really
going.
good year.
I'm going with the Orioles. Yeah.
And normally, I would do the same thing. I would say Chris Archer. I'll usually take a Chris Archer over anyone else that's not an elite pitcher. But after hearing what Jamie just said, with no research of my own, I will say Orioles.
Dylan Bundy has been in the top 3 pitchers of this entire season for Baltimore.
So everyone's going.
I
Wow,
went Baltimore.
this is really
Chris
bad
Archer
game.
gave up
What's amazing
8
is
runs
that
in 3 innings.
It's amazing that Franklin, you spelled Orioles wrong 4 times the exact same way in the rundown.
Yeah, well, that's what the old spell check is for, James. All right, last game.
Wait, hot take. Are we sure Chris Archer's good?
Ooh,
Because I was thinking about it, and then I just pulled up his stats. I mean, over the past, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 seasons. All right, since his rookie year, he went 1-3 his rookie year, 9-7, 3.22 ERA. All right, good season. 10-9, 12-13, and then the past 2 years, 9-19 with a 4.02 ERA, and then 10-12 with a 4.07 ERA. Are we sure he's good?
You can only make do with what you got.
that's a good point.
I know,
Ryan.
but I mean, even the ERA at 4 isn't great. But you know, I'm just wanted to throw that in there.
All right,
I think on any other team, like a Nationals, you'd see how he actually is, but he's not a clear-cut number 1 by any means anymore.
No.
Okay.
But that's all Tampa has, so he is the number 1.
Yeah.
Last up, last game. This is probably the most dumpster fire pick,
Yeah, this is
and we
awful.
saved it for the last edition of picks. White Sox at the Kansas City Royals, Thursday night. Lucas Giolito
He got traded from the Nationals
versus
For Adam
Jacob Junis on the mound.
I'm going White Sox. Giolito had a horrible start last game. Hurt my fantasy team. I was definitely disappointed. But I think he'll rebound against the Royals.
Yeah, so I sent Ryan my picks like usual, and I sent Royals, and then I kind of regretted it. But now I'm looking at Jacob Junis, 3-1 with a 2.03 ERA. So I'm rolling with the Royals.
Well, I guess I got to change to White Sox. Yeah, I guess I'm going with the White Sox then.
Little story for you guys. I saw both these teams play in Chicago last year.
Oh.
And it was just one of
Wow.
the worst baseball games I've ever been at in my
Hey, at least
entire
back then the
life.
Royals still had their other guys. Right, so
And then what's more amazing is so the White Sox lost that game. Then me and haven't mentioned her yet, Brianna went to a game in Cleveland where they
it's
played
only a matter of time.
but they played the White Sox and they lost 2-1 to the White Sox with Kluber pitching.
Oof.
So that was one of the worst times of my life. I hate the White Sox so much. But I hate the Royals too because division leaders. I can pronounce Junis' last name easier than the other guy, so I'm going Royals.
So the Blue Jays tickets will come down to Cavs, Pacers, and Royals, White Sox.
Hold on, no, I'm using my
I thought
mulligan.
this was just if
No, I said
this was
I
to get us at least even. It was
No, I
only
thought it
if
was
you
ahead.
couldn't come back.
Oh, well.
So now you just have a chance to be even.
So just a reminder, Ty, Jamie, who I'll just assume has the longest time in first place, will get to choose
Yeah.
between one beverage
I think so
Yes.
too.
and one ticket.
Yeah.
And whoever finishes tied first, which is me, I'll get the the other.
So basically,
Make
I
me tie
just
first.
need LeBron James to get me a dub, and I feel good about that. It comes down to
Alright.
LeBron James.
White Sox Royals
LeBron
and
James.
Pacers
LeBron
Cavs.
James.
Watch out at Backpage Podcast. We'll tweet out what the results are.
So that is it. Again, like we said, this is one of the last episodes of the Backpage podcast. I mean, do you guys have anything you want to say? Just kind of a...
Well, yeah. So I know when Jane, you just like approached me, was it last semester? Because I had done I used to do like this. I did stuff over the summer when I used to do Sports on the Ridge. I still have that Twitter account active, but I never use it. But yeah, and we were just kind of struggling to find our method last semester, and we did so many practice ones, and we were like, Jesus, like we thought we would have like a few episodes out by the end of the first semester, and then we didn't. And then, when we got in the studio this semester, we really just got rolling, and I'm happy with the well-oiled machine that we were able to turn this into, and I'm sad that we'll have to break up the band.
Ryan?
I'm definitely glad to be the executive producer for this podcast and the radio show. It's very fun editing, as you talked about yesterday, James, about video editing, and I have that same passion for anything editing, period. I have been glad to be able to come on here, try to be as unbiased as possible. Usually didn't try to throw in as many Yankees points as I could have made, but I guess that's, well, a little bit humbleness, despite the 27 rains will do to you.
Okay, yeah. How many do you remember? You must have loved those ones in the 20s, right? Yeah, so
Yeah, I
that's what
did.
thought.
I was there, dude.
Yeah,
Babe Ruth,
okay.
Lou Gehrig. I was sitting section 110.
Okay.
Franklin, you'll be doing this next semester, so we'll get you a farewell. Hopefully.
I'll keep it short and sweet for now, but I'm gonna probably pour my heart out when we're in Toronto.
Okay.
This podcast has given me it has opened the door for me to do radio from now on. Like at first doing this podcast sitting down in the newsroom at the time, I was a little I was a little hesitant. Like, oh, I don't know how is this gonna go, yada yada yada. I might choke on my words, which I probably did. An episode here and there.
We all have.
Yeah, we had quite a few mishaps when you first started out.
But yeah, now that I'm good to clean, good to go. There's no stopping the Backpage podcast.
Yeah.
I have thought about this moment right here, like these next 2 minutes for the last 3 months.
Wow.
How about save it
And
for
what I'll
Toronto.
say, are you sure? Because I don't feel I'll have a few beers with me in Toronto. I don't know if I feel like pouring my heart. I'll probably just want to rip apart the Blue Jays and the Rangers. So I won't make this long. Right, Franklin, I know you have class. This started without, and I'll say the Wire interchangeably with the Backpage podcast, because without the Wire there would be no Backpage podcast. There would be no WNR. There would be no experience for all this. So Matt approached me several years ago. I approached him. I said, "Hey, if you need a sports editor," half jokingly, I'm here, half jokingly, and then 3 years later, rest is history, right? I want to pay tribute to the editors, or who were the first editors, but the writers that came before you guys, Penali, Yarger, and Morris, and they really laid the groundwork, the foundation, the operational foundation to give us this platform. They did so well that first semester that it just opened the doors for sports, even with a whole new staff. And I want to thank them for that. I want to thank Matt and Gabby for starting this thing that has taken up 90% of my time the past 2 years, even with several other classes. Like I will spend hours with the Backpage podcast and the Wire. Carrie Teresa has been as guiding as she has been hands off and letting us do what we want, and this is a huge part of that.
I don't mean to interrupt, but we would have had Carrie on the podcast.
Yes.
If she has openly admitted that she knows nothing about sports.
Yeah,
but if she knew even the inkling about sports, we would have her on and drool.
And then you guys obviously have been a terrific staff. I give you guys a lot of crap, and I yell, and I'm a jerk sometimes. I can't be, it doesn't matter, right? But the joke I said the other day, right? But,
yeah.
But you guys, you've made this doable. You've made this doable. You've made the podcast doable. You've made countless print editions very easy to do. I haven't had to edit a whole lot. Part of that is the great writing. Part of that's Franklin embracing this new role as sports editor coming up next semester, which is going to be at the time of your life, Franklin. So this is, I am so lucky that it is really hard to walk away from this. I am so lucky that I have something that is so hard to walk away from. And this has just been one of the greatest 2 years of my life. And no matter what I do next year, I'm not going to be as happy as I am now. I know that. I know that right now. So that is all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. Catch today's episode on YouTube and SoundCloud, among other WNR streaming episodes on SoundCloud. Catch us on Twitter to answer today's Twitter poll, which is:
If you're a Bills fan, would you be more upset if the Bills traded the number 22 pick to get up higher in the draft, or next year's first round pick to get up higher in the draft?
So that is that. Oh, that's a good last Twitter poll, right? That's a good last Twitter poll. Jamie, let's get a good song to go out on. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you on Friday as we broadcast from Toronto, the Toronto Blue Jays game. Someone's going to have the ticket paid for it. It's going to be a great thing.
Watch out for Twitter for the update on the picks.
Oh, yeah.
Photos, video, it'll all be coming your way.
I'll be coming your way. You want to do a WNR Wednesday? We're doing WNR Wednesday?
Absolutely. We are doing the WNR
All
on
right, so
Wednesday.
catch us on WNR on Wednesday. We'll go 9 to 10, 9 to 11. We got issue 14, the final issue, coming out April 25th. Coming in, it's going to be great. Our final thing, catch a brand new episode of WNR on Wednesday. Catch Backpage Podcast coming out either Friday or Saturday. Thank you for tuning in.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling.